Gordon Ramsay was in Dubai last week to open his second Hell's Kitchen location at Caesar's Palace in Blue Waters, Dubai. But today we're going to talk about one particular statement he made during that event. I'm Brent Busman, this is Shruti Nair, and you're watching Inside AB. So, for those of you who haven't seen the story yet, essentially what happened was that Gordon Ramsay, who's one of the world's most famous chefs, said in front of a bunch of reporters that social media influencers should pay for their own meals at restaurants if they wish to write reviews. He said he's never walked in fear of an influencer. But of course, in Dubai, this is quite a big thing. We have a big influencer culture here. So this has become a big problem here in Dubai, hasn't it?
I agree, yeah. So I think this debate has been going on for a really long time where it's brands versus influencers, influencers versus journalists, customers versus influencers, because at this point, at the rate at which we're going, I think everybody is a reviewer. Like you go on websites like TripAdvisor and you're putting down reviews and people actually buy that because that seems to be more authentic than the ones that's coming from influencers, because you never know. In a lot of cases, these influencers are paid. And this sort of brings me back to what had happened before with Chef Izu Ani, where he banned Foodiva blogger Samantha Wood after there was a negative review that came out. But the main point he made was the negative review was personal because of an incident that happened before. So what had happened previously was Ani had clashed with Wood when, according to Chef Izu Ani, Samantha Wood had demanded thousands of dirhams so that Carine could be featured in Dine Around Dubai, which is an experience that sees customers pay to be taken to mystery restaurants. And what Chef Izu Ani did at that time was he refused to pay the money, he refused to offer her food or host her essentially, and this sort of got her pissed. So this is what Chef Izu Ani says, but then Samantha Wood obviously she doesn't really agree and she denies these allegations. So this had happened previously, and this is what brings us to this entire conversation that we're having now after what Gordon Ramsay said.
And it's not the first time either. Of course, there was another case when Aegis Hospitality founder Samer Hamada said that a food blogger, who he didn't name, threatened to leave a bad review for one of his restaurants, Akiba Dori, after he refused to allow the blogger, and get this, 6 friends to eat for free. So that also begs the question, whether or not you think giving an influencer a free meal for a review is right or wrong. It seems that some of them are taking it a little too far. For example, I don't see why any business should allow 7 people to come eat for free because that's a huge expense.
Exactly.
And it is a business at the end of the day.
And in that particular case, it's wrong on so many levels, right? When she's going out and threatening them. So this is again what Chef Izu Ani had said earlier, I've put in my 2 years. I've invested a lot of money for this particular project. And you just come, eat my free food and then do your review. If you like my food, write things about it. If you don't like it, don't write about it. But it's when the whole money aspect of it gets involved. But now talking numbers, in a 2018 survey, the Association of National Advertisers discovered that 75% brands utilize influencers for promotional purposes, which means that this is actually becoming mainstream at this point. But a mere 36% of brand marketers viewed their influencer campaigns to be effective. And now this comes to the question of how much of it is actually being translated into sales, like for all the brands that is being promoted, marketed by these influencers, how many of their followers are actually buying it?
Well, it's interesting because this is something that's been debated in Dubai a lot, and actually there's statistics about it globally. So there's been studies that have found that up to 40% of comments on an influencer's post are actually fake bots. Secondly, there's another study from the University of Southern California and Indiana University that said 9 to 15% of Twitter accounts are also fake, and as many as 60 million Facebook accounts are bots. So when that's the audience that an influencer is reaching out to, which may or may not be real, one wonders how much influence that person actually has if he has to buy followers.
Yeah, to be honest, Bernie, for me, there are just certain things that I look at when I go to an influencer's account, which I don't seem to see in a lot of cases right now. For example, one is transparency, which I sort of get to see because these social media influencers, they're not just social media influencers, they're actually out and about. You see them as proper celebrities. So I think there's a face that you can put to all of these names and account names. That's there. But second is experts. Are they experts about the thing that they're talking about or the brand that they're trying to influence, right? You see a particular social media influencer, today they're doing a food review, tomorrow they do a motor review, and the next day they're doing a staycation review. So, I mean, what expert are they when it comes to this particular, what is their niche? So that's why I sort of lean more towards micro-influencers who know their niche. If there's a guy who's doing a tech review, I know I can believe him. I know he knows his content. The third thing I look for again is experience. How long have they been doing it for me to think that they are a credible source of information? So it's a bunch of these things which a lot of influencers don't really fall under the categories I would like to place them in.
Of course, well, personally, I think that if the restaurant and the influencer think they can both get something out of it, then I personally don't see anything wrong with that. But I think it's when, like we said, 7 friends is extreme.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's a different issue entirely, kind of. But we'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Do you think reviewers should pay for meals? Do you think they should get them free? Let us know in the comment section. As always, you're watching Inside AB. I'm Brenty Boosman, and this is Shruti Nair. Thank you.